Good morning and welcome to Simple Stamping Saturday. This is the day when I bring you one basic design, 3 ways, quick and easy, and then 2 stepped up versions. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Yuille and I trade as Old Stables Crafts. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK, working across all our European countries, which are now France, Germany, Austria, the Netherlands, Belgium and Ireland. So if you want any Stampin' Up products or want to talk about joining my team, please get in touch. You can find all my links in the description bar below. But enough of that, let's get on with today's project. So let me flip the camera down, and we are using Nested Friends today. Anyone who watches my regular YouTube lives on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Tuesdays 11 o'clock, Thursdays at 3 o'clock UK time, you will have seen me use Nested Friends on Tuesday, and I did suggest that I might be using this again for today, and I am. So let me show you the first project. She says, trying to find it, and here it is. So I've got my little envelopes on a white note card and envelope, and we've just got the nest coloured in with thank you at the top. So it's a really quick, easy card that's either ideal for speed or if you are a new stamper. I'm using 3 ink pads. I'm using Soft Suede, Real Red and Old Olive. I had to remind myself there. And I'm also using a blender pen. I often use the blender pen with watercolour pencils, but this time I'm using it with ink pads. So let me grab another white note card and another white envelope. These come in packs of 20, so you get 20 note cards, 20 envelopes. Really great way to start. You can get yourself a stamp set, a couple of ink pads, and a set of note cards, and you're good to go. So I'm going to ink up the nest image, which actually I didn't use on my YouTube live, so this is quite a good one to be using this time. So I'm just going to stamp it, having inked it with Soft Suede. I'm going to stamp it in the bottom right hand corner, and oh, not the best, but it doesn't matter because we're going to be moving the ink around, so that's fine. Not too stressed. And then I'm going to use Real Red for the thank you, which is going in the top left. So there, oh, I have my head in the way again. I do apologise. I must stop doing that. I'm going to have to dangle something off my stand. That's the word I'm looking for. And while I've got inks out, let me grab a very tatty looking piece of grid paper. Check that my envelope is the right way up, and I've got my little bird image. And again, I'm just going to ink that up with Soft Suede and pop my bird down in the bottom right hand corner. Now I may need both those ink pads again, but for the moment I'm going to concentrate on Soft Suede. Let's get that out of the way. Got my blender pen. What I always do with a blender pen is start by scribbling just to make sure that it's not got any ink on it that we don't want, and then all I'm going to do is move that ink around, which is why I say it didn't matter that I didn't stamp this particularly well. I can pick up some more ink off my ink pad and just colour that in, and nobody but us is going to know that there was a bit of a whoops. You can also pick your ink up by adding it to the lid of your ink pan. You do that just by pressing the ink with the lid closed. Just press the lid and the base together and you get a little pool of ink in the middle of the lid. But if you're just doing fine detail, you can just pick up off the edge. So let's put a bit more shading in there where I didn't stamp well. But as you can see, it doesn't matter. It's gone. The bad stamping is gone because we've moved the ink around. And then just the only thing to be slightly wary of is that you don't rub over one area too much. If you do need to spread the ink a bit more in another area, do it once, let it dry, and then go back and do it again. but if you go into one area over and over again, this is what will happen. So if I go over too much, let me see if I can get the zoom to work. Can you see what has happened? Maybe if I move it around a bit, I can actually take it off. I've got little bits of fibre from the paper, which is not a good look. So you don't want to get too, I think it's that end I'm using. Let's check the other end. Yep, it was definitely that end. You don't want to go over in the one place too much. The quicker you use your blender pen, the better, because the ink will start to dry and it will be less inclined to move the drier it is. So this is something to do. You stamp, you blend. If you're doing work with watercolor pencils and you're using Tuxedo Black, which is water resistant when dry, you want to stamp and then let it dry fully, otherwise you'll find that with alcohol markers you will smudge that ink. So there are times to leave things to dry and times to not, and this is one of the knots. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of ink just for this branch down here and there and just in there. So you can always add in a bit more if you need. And these have got a lovely little point on them, so they're really easy to use. So let me scribble that off, because that's all of the soft suede that I need at the moment. And as I've got the real red open, let's use that next. So I know this is clean because I've already scribbled it once, but I'm going to scribble it again because it's one of those habits that's good to get into. And I'm just adding a little bit of red to these. I'm thinking of them as berries. They probably aren't, but that's what I'm looking at them as. And then let's find the red on my grid paper and scribble there, and then I can just check that it's clean on the white. So that's the real red used. And then I've got Old Olive, which is a really nice kind of, it's a natural colour. Parakeet Party is natural if you have a parakeet. Not so natural if you're looking at what I would call standard leaves. I do have some shrubs in the garden that do have that bright green. They're grown specifically, I'm thinking Euphorbia, which is lovely for flower arranging because it is that acid bright green. But as a general rule, even in the spring, which we're finally in, leaves tend to be slightly more subdued, certainly in the UK. I'm kind of looking out of my window and I've got one shrub that's got a kind of yellowy tone to it, but as a general rule, nah. This is a much more natural colour. So if you're looking for a natural green, I would think Old Olive is a really good one to go for. If you want a darker green that's a natural, I would be tempted to go probably Mossy Meadow. You can get something that looks fairly like Old Olive out of Mossy Meadow because it's that same kind of brown green. It's just a darker version. They go together really well, but you can get something that looks similar from Mossy Meadow. So this is basically just watercolor. It's really easy. It's, you know, using a marker pen. I'm sure we've all used marker pens along the way, so really simple to do. And as I say, we may come back in a bit and add some more soft suede, but for the moment I'm going to go Old Olive. But once I've finished where the leaves are, it'll be easier to see where there might be some soft suede missing. So I just needed to move my ink pad for a moment. It was slightly in the wrong place. Right, need a bit more there. And then I think we're good to go. I might just add a little bit more soft suede. There's a couple of areas where I'm missing a bit. And although I scribbled off, I didn't then scribble again. Going into soft suede from old olive isn't too much of an issue because soft suede is so much darker. Right, okay, so let's shut that scribble, put the lid back on. These last a really long time. You get them in a pack of 3, so they're very good value. I mentioned it on my live on Tuesday. We have been told, not surprisingly, that prices are likely to go up. No, not likely to, are going up in the new annual catalogue. So if there's anything you need now, get it before the beginning of May. Don't run the risk of missing things, because I think there's going to be a lot of people ordering, so that A, they get anything that's maybe going to retire, because we've got a colour refresh as well, but also so that, oh, I haven't coloured that, also so that they miss the price increase. I would highly recommend it. So this, again, I'm just going to use the ink that's here just to blend that so that it's still basically an outline, but it's just got that softness added by blending the ink. So that is my simple project. Stepped up, I used Abigail Rose Designer Series paper from the annual catalogue, the catalogue we all forget, on Tuesday, and I've carried on using it because I think it works really well with this stamp set. So this is my first stepped up version. So again, it's the nest, stamped in soft suede again. Suddenly thought, was it soft suede or tuxedo black? And it was soft suede. You can use your blends with our classic inks. It's not as good an ink for using with blends, but most of what I'm colouring here is brown, so it really wasn't too much of an issue. And then I've used some of the brushed metallic adhesive back dots to embellish, and I've done the thank you in gold embossing. So that is my first stepped up project. My second one is this one, which is a kind of fold back card. I would put a liner on the back so that you could write there. I was thinking about putting it in the middle, and then I thought, actually, when it's up, you really don't want the white showing here. The other place you could put it is just there, but I think putting it on the back would be the way to go. So I partially die cut the aperture, then I've cut a white circle with the same die, and it's one of the stylish shapes. But I'd already stamped the nest, so I did partial die cutting on for the circle, and then partial die cutting for the die that goes with the nest. It's one of those things that I will get around to showing you how to do very soon, I promise. But yeah, so that's my stepped up version, and again we've got the brushed metallic embellishments. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Remember that you can subscribe just by hitting the subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. If you hit the alert bell as well, once you've subscribed, you'll get an email when I go live, and when you come to your YouTube channel, you'll be given an alert that I have posted a recorded video. So thank you very much indeed for joining me. Questions or comments can go below the description bar. Let me just flip the camera up so I can see you properly. So yes, questions or comments below the description bar. I am up to date. As I'm recording this, I'm up to date with all of my comments. So by all means, leave a comment and I'll get back to you. If you've got any questions, again, leave me a comment and I will get back to you. I had a request for, there was a card I posted on my website which used the Rhino Ready bundle and the radiating stitched frames, and I stretched one of the frames to to fit a slimline card, and I have had a request for how do you do that, and that was from a comment on a video. It wasn't the video for that because I didn't do a video of that card, but I always pick up those comments, so I'm just using it as an example, and I will be doing a video for that, probably not next week but the week after, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Have a fantastic rest of your day and rest of your weekend, and I look forward to seeing you all again very soon. In the meantime, bye for now. Bye.